Moblin. It's counting.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very good afternoon. Of course, for us here, the Sporters Volleyball Club media page, and of course, each and everyone who is behind the scenes. We are coming to you live from the MTN Arena here in LUGOGO. Of course, this game was supposed to start at exactly 9 a.m., but due to some unavoidable circumstances, it had to be pushed. Nonetheless, the game has started. Of course, you see the ladies team, of course, are coming into this fixture with 4 points from the previous 2 weekends. The first weekend, of course, they had that thunderous victory against the defending champions in KCB Mkumba, collecting all the maximum 3 points. And then, of course, last weekend they fell short to Ndeje Elites. Of course, in a game that ended in 5 sets, which Ndeje, of course, the Elites came up victorious. And of course, for Updf, this is a team, of course, which is housing players with a combined experience of about 10 years and more. Of course, they will be asking questions in this particular fixture, looking for their first victory since this is their first game in the second round. But of course, we have a lot of action lined up for you this particular Sunday. That's why we call it Sunday Classic Volleyball Day. And of course, after this game, we have another thriller, another encounter between Spotters ladies. They'll be up against KCCA, and of course, you don't want to miss that one. And immediately following that game will be a Serie A encounter between KCCA. They will be taking on UCU Dubs, of course, who came out victorious last weekend, winning that game against the Sharks, who, of course, yesterday were able to also collect maximum points after downing, or of course, the team from Nambongo Elion side. And of course, for UCU, they will of course be looking for maximum points in again this coming fixture they will be playing. But of course, before we end the day with our game between KAVC and Nemo Stars, there will be a Serie B fixture. Of course, that game is a no one to miss because St. Charles Ntinda will be locking horns against Tigers Volleyball Club. And of course, we shall be here as Spotters Volleyball Club Media. We shall be here to relay all these games as they really do happen. And of course, for UCU, we see, of course, Coach Juma Osunge there has fielded quite different faces from the starting team which played against Indeje. We see Duffin is starting ahead of Evers, and of course Alado is as usual on court. She's going to be receiving with praise, of course. And then in the opposite role, we have Duffin Shinobe. We have Novelin in the middle, of course, with Tracy Aine Babazi, and of course for UPDF, of course, Coach Edison has started, of course, the experienced setter in, of course, Veronica. We have Alutia, Rebecca. We have Grace there, of course, Kamede. We have UCU, of course, are on the lead with 14 points. UPDF chasing that lead slowly. Faima from the middle, but she goes wide. And of course, UCU established a 5 point lead. This is set number one. As of course,
like has been having some good games the past weekends, starting with the KCB Nkuba win. They are on a winning streak. I think they still have a chance of winning this game.
and that big block from Rebecca Alutia and Captain Faima shut down, of course, Patricia Alado, and UPDF just need 2 points to clear and win this first set.
Looking at the screen, we have Grace, shot number 16. What do you know about Grace?
Grace, of course, experienced players, and Grace is that agile player who can really perform in any position she's put on. She can set as well, and we have seen her do that in round 1. She was really taking that center stage to set for this particular UPDF side, and I think the experience plays it more because she takes things under her control. And just like her, there's of course that support from Kutha Kagoya there. These are 2 experienced players who have of course played for big name teams, of course Sportes not to mention, but of course there have been players in Sportes as well, and they have experience. But Grace is one of those players you can always look up to when you really need to score, and just like that, the service pressure is really been on the UCU receivers, and now we are set for set point number 1 for Team UPDF.
I think UCU would need a big miracle to get this set back from the hands of UPDF. Otherwise, I think UPDF might close this one.
Yeah, they have really been putting a lot of pressure on the UCU side, and you can see the libero is struggling to pass Praise, but she's quick and off the hands there of Alutia Rebecca. Set point number 1 is saved, of course. UCU having some talking points there. They really have to find a way of correcting these mistakes they have been making that have handed UPDF this lead. Now they have to fight so hard, the UCU side there, to bounce. Nicely picked by Alutia, following it up. Faima, now free ball to UCU. Daphne setting up Praise, swings hard, and that is a good swing from Praise. 22 for UCU and 24 for UPDF.
That was lovely from Praise. Very lovely from Praise.
And that noise you're hearing is from the fans, and of course UCU side there, the men as well have a game today, and I can clearly tell you that they are trying to rally their ladies team want to fight in this particular set here.
Patricia Alado still in service, decides to pace it. Good pick from
Alutia, dumps, picked by Chinobe, setting up Praise. She goes high and off the hands of Amoding Irene. UCU are still fighting on in this first set. Now they are just in need of that 1 point to catch up with UPDF, and of course timeout is going to be called by Coach Edison for UPDF side here, who have failed to secure that 1 point to win this first set.
The pressure of getting that 1 point is so high. With UCU fighting back like this, UPDF looks a little bit confused.
You can see clearly there on your screen the coach is trying to emphasize that point. We need 1 point, and of course the players now need to find a way of really securing that side out and break off through this first set and win. But for UCU, they are really focusing on finding a way of stopping those high attacks from Rebecca Alutia, who is on front court for UPDF together with Captain Faima and Veronica, the setter.
Patricia just needs to keep on the service, and maybe UCU can come back from this.
Cross set, Irene, retrieved by Patricia. Daphne setting up Praise. She swings, and that's a good score. UCU have showed us what it means to really keep in the game. And for now, I can really tell you that it's game on, because we are level at scores 24-24. What a comeback by UCU.
Praise decided to go for brains this time round. She reduced the energy and just decided to pass over the ball into the space. None of the players in the backcourt of UPDF managed to at least pick the ball.
And just like that, UCU are now in set points. What a change of stats. And of course, this is beautiful volleyball from UCU. I can assure you the server is doing a very good job. And of course, for UPDF now, the pressure is on their end, and now they need to again fight back to see to it that they get themselves maybe that level in scores. And of course, the substitution, Veronica is going to be taken off, and Sekina Apolot, the other setter for UPDF, is going to be introduced in the game.
UPDF still finding it hard to break Patricia's service.
Fireman, tight set for her, retrieved by Chinobe. Praise, again she uses the brains, and the ball is still in play. Fibo goes again to UC's side, retrieved again by Praise, who is not quite in position. She goes, and she is not able to play it over. But looking at that picked ball, I think the libero was in a better position to play that ball, because you could see Praise was struggling to move backwards, and the libero was in position to play that ball really.
Yeah, there was poor communication between the libero and Praise, because I think if the communication was good, at least one of them would have picked the ball, the one who was in a better position.
Yeah.
And in this kind of situation, Praise is our Jesus. We need her to be outside to leave that job for the libero.
Yeah, from Era to Esther doing the serving. Because that's Salado, Patricia, and of course for Kutha to play that ball to that space where there's no one covering. But this is why Sunday is always beautiful to watch volleyball, because it is full of rallies like these ones here. Nicely picked, Daphne for Praise, swings. Faima, the ball is still in play. Grace to do the setting now. Kutha, retrieved by Chinobe. Daphne goes to Praise again, and off the hands. She's good to score for her team. Now UCU need to defend this service from their captain and the setter, of course, Daphne. Kutha swings, and UCU have fought their way back in this first set after establishing a lead, and they lost it at the later stages of the game. Here they are fighting on, and they have really earned this victory in this first set.
That was a good fight from UCU. The morale was a bit down, but the way they handled this is really impressive from UCU. Like I said, they are having a very good run this in this second round. I don't think they have lost any game.
No, they fell short to Indeje Elites last weekend, where they had a 5-set thriller, and of course Indeje Elites came up strong to win that game 3-2. And of course for UPDF, this is their first game of the second round. UCU have already tested victory in the second round after downing down, of course, the defending champions in KCB Nkumba in that 3-0 win. And of course now, looking at this particular fixture, UCU have come up really strong to play in those areas where UPDF really couldn't do much, and now they have a set.
Having a first set with such scores is really interesting. So I hope that the next sets are going to give us more of this kind of volleyball.
Yeah, of course for Coach Juma, he has quite a lot of talking points with the ladies there. After establishing that 5-point lead, and they dropped it, and UPDF really looked really strong to win this first set here, with having 24 points and UCU at 21. Really, they needed just 1 point to win, but they were not able to utilize the chances they had. And UCU, of course, having Praise, one of the good players on their side, who attacks hard and has a good jump on front court. She was really able to clear all those range of points and catch up. And now UCU are able to have this first set onto their name. Let's wait and see what set number 2 will be holding for us, because the momentum is already on
the fact that Patricia kept the service on until they caught up, we don't usually see that kind of thing in volleyball here.
Yeah.
Especially in the men's volleyball.
But of course, in the ladies category, you can even have a bigger margin in lead of points, but your opponent can always find a way to catch up. And that is what you see has just showed us here. That even if a team needs 1 point to really win, they can find a way to catch up. And they did a lot of fighting on there in terms of cover and defense, of course, and the server as well. Of Veronica. And for UCU, of course, no changes from the team that started the first set, apart from, of course, the setter as well. Evers has been introduced now to start, and the rest stays how it was. Very good block, of course, from Tracy, combining with Chinobe Daffin to shut down Grace there in position 2. Of course, we hope that UCU carries on the momentum they finished in the first set in this particular second set as well. Maybe they will have an ease and, of course, an advantageous win. And, of course, still manning that net area is Tracy, and that is a good stop block from her there. That ball was really not received well from the UPDF side. And UCU have again set us with a 3-point lead now.
Looking at UCU, it is starting strong again in this second set, having the upper hand with 4 points. UPDF 1. UPDF still struggling to keep that service, to receive that ball. It's giving them a hard time to process that ball. The service is hard for them, taking off their setter and giving them a hard time to attack.
Kutha. Ball is still in play, retrieved by Praise. Alado swings. Not quite a hard one, but the ball is still in play. This is Grace. But that ball is off court.
The UCU coach seems not to be happy.
Yeah, of course, he expects his team to start really on a high and not taking chances. Very good service from Praise there. Of course, lands on the court of UPDF without anyone touching, and that is an S, of course, for Praise. And UCU now with 5 points on the lead. We want to see how UPDF, of course, reacts to this lead. Remember, they were in this situation in set number 1, but they were able to close in on the later stages of the set. But for UCU now, of course, they only have to maintain that lead as they progress in the set and not taking chances.
UPDF needs to break Praise's service because it is giving them a hard time to receive. They have to fight really hard to get her off service.
Tracy from the middle, not quite a convincing attack, of course, from her following her reaction there, but she's able to have that hit, and that ball goes, of course, on court. And of course, for UPDF, another experienced player in Nabuto Joan is going to be introduced in this game, and of course, Captain Paima has been taken off. Now look at the experience in this court for UPDF. It's just Alutia Rebecca who might not be having that experience, but look at from Kutha, Grace, now we have Joan on court. There's the libero there, of course, Becky as well. But they have continued to struggle to pass that ball, and very good powerful services are coming from, of course, Praise there. And for UTU now, they are in a comfortable position with the lead.
Yeah, UCU looks to be in control of this set, with UPDF still struggling with that service. All they need is one break, and then Praise gets off that service, and then maybe they can process.
And I think their prayers have been answered with that service error from Praise. Of course, now hands UPDF their second point. And for UCU now at 8, they need to just maintain that lead and, of course, maybe push further to see that they win this set without that struggle that they went through in the first set. Picked by Opeded Charity Alado off the hands, and of course she's quick to acknowledge the fact that there was just a slight touch when she was landing there together with Grace, of course, for UPDF. Of course, the service pressure is continuing to pile on the side of UPDF, but that is quite a smart play from Kutha. Court awareness, of course, from her. And of course, Patricia not really in the right position to cover. What do you make of this start by UPDF in this second set?
UPDF in this second set is really down. Look at that lead. 8-point lead.
That's a lot to cover up for, and it needs a lot. You need to put in a lot of effort to really catch up with the opponent when they are leading in this kind of margin or points.
We need to see that experience from both players. I think that's all that can help UPDF right now.
Kutha, big Sekina again. Kutha off the hands, and that's a good score, of course, for UPDF. Of course, Coach Edson there for UPDF on your screen is having a lot of talking points with his players there, the UPDF ladies, because the way they have started this particular second set doesn't really look so convincing, of course, to him, and basing on the fact that they ended set number 1 after chasing those 5 points which you see, of course, had set up. But this is set number 2, and you can see the service errors already are following these players, of course, of UPDF.
That was not a good set from Apollos, but at least the ball managed to stay on court. Kept in play by
Evers
the UCU.
Sets up, of course, Alado Patricia. Sekina goes to Kutha, who swings again, but no one is there to stop that ball, especially the blockers. And that ball just goes and lands in the middle of the court of UCU.
The blocker on the right side, I think, misjudged the ball. She was like, maybe they are going to just dump it. So she didn't commit to the person.
But of course, Evers, with that experience, should be knowing that Kutha has a lot of experience and court awareness. She's able to do anything with that ball as long as it's up. UCU are starting to really sleep on the job here, because now those are very, very unexpected balls to land on your court, and you can see the lead is starting to be cut. And if UPDF puts on a lot of pressure, you're going to see that they're really going to catch up in this set again as well.
That was a very good swing from Patricia there to earn UCU another point.
I think the UCU players really look to be comfortable with this play they are having, but you can't rule out the fact that UPDF was in the same situation in the first set, and they can easily bounce back. And of course, that is where UCU, and of course for Coach Juma, that is where he doesn't want his team to end up, because the pressure which they were subjected to in the first set was not a good place to really be. And Lado Patricia, one of the best servers, of course, for UCU, has gone and decided to serve in the net. 7 for UPDF and 11 for UCU.
Patricia served very well in the first set to close up that gap that UPDF had, and now in this set she has lost her first service.
Because that's a line infringement called on Praise. That ball was kind of tight for her, so she was trying to play it over maybe safely, but she ends up landing across the line, and of course ended up in the UPDF side of the play.
UPDF trying to close that gap. Now it's left with only 3 points to catch up.
Praise.
This is just like in the first set, like you said.
Yeah.
If UCU does a psych up, the UPDF is most likely to catch up.
Yeah, I think everyone is really standing, and those balls can't be deflected off the hands of the blockers, and there's no one to really put an effort to try to keep it in play. Those are the balls which are going to really cost UCU in case they really go down to lose this set, because those are the balls which have been landing on their court, and no one is trying to put in effort to try to really play it.
They seem to be too comfortable right now.
Yeah, that miscommunication from Sekina, the setter there, and of course Nabuto John, after that ball was retrieved by Grace. Nicely played, of course. Of course, the fans, especially the UCU, of course, end up the other end of the court, and of course, you just witnessed, of course, scenes from the Sporters end of fans. Of course, Sporters, the ladies have a game against KCCA immediately after this particular one. And then the Sporters Tigers men as well have a game against St. Charles. That is a very interesting fixture to really look up to.
Very, very interesting. I can't wait for that game.
There have been a lot of social media wars following that fixture, but we really want to close it all today. That
is what makes volleyball interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of fans, of course, are expecting that fixture really to bring a lot of an electrifying atmosphere here in Lugogo. But look at that swing from Praise. She goes to the line and finds, of course, the setter Sekina not able to keep that ball in play. UCU 14 and UPDF still holding on with 10.
When you look at that lineup, front court lineup of UCU, I think it is what makes more points for them.
Yeah, when Tracy Praise and of course Daphne Chinobe on front court for UCU.
When you look at that
that exposes
lineup,
3
front court
attackers
lineup
for
of
Evers.
UCU.
So she has options because all of them have been scoring.
And UCU seems to be comfortable receiving the serves from UPDF. It makes me think, is the service weak or they are just good at receiving?
Retrieved by Charity. Evers sets up, of course, Tracy looking for those cones where there are no people really to play her ball back, and she's able to secure that point for her team. Yeah, and of course, if you're in the shoes of UPDF players right now, you don't want to keep Praise in that service box because she's really starting to pick up the momentum. They really need to side out as soon as possible because she already did the damage to them in the beginning of this set here, and now she is going for her second attempt in the service.
UPDF seems to have handled the situation of Praise better than in the early stages of this set. They seem to be now comfortable receiving her balls.
Now, of course, Nabuto Joan is going to do the serving, and of course, you should be surprised to see that Amoding Irene for UPDF is being used in the middle. Remember, this is an outside player, and she has been playing in the opposite position for UPDF. Now she's being used in the middle, and I think Coach Edison for UPDF should be having his reasons best known to him. And of course, for us, we are always here to see what changes coaches come up with, and maybe on a tactical aspect, he has his reasons as well.
Yeah, every game comes with a different. It comes with a different. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but it is always different from the previous one. So you have to come up with new ways of winning, new ways of boosting up your team.
Yeah, so for you, PDF now, they need to just maintain that pressure because now the lead, which was at first 8 points, is now just two. And of course, for UCU, they have a lot to talk about in case Coach Juma Osunge decides to call for a timeout when the pressure increases. But of course, Alado Patricia is they have a lot to talk about UCU in case and Coach Juma Osunge again decides to timeout for UPDF. Of course, they had closed in on the gap to 2 points. Now UCU again have pushed it back to 5 points, and UCU are headed for the business end of the set. And of course, for Coach Edson, he is having some key talking areas, of course, for his ladies, and as well looking at the UCU bench there, Coach Juma emphasizing, especially on the defense there. She is talking to Chinobe Dapin there, and of course Novelin.
UCU with a 4-point lead, and Grace loses that service, making it 5-point lead. UCU still has the upper hand in this set.
Yeah, I think they have tried to maintain their lead, and of course, for them it's good statistics, especially when they started on a very good margin of leading, of course, with 8 points, and now as though of course UPDF tried to cover up the lead, they had secured about two, but now again it kept on pushing. Of course, now you see you having just those 5 points, and Evers looking for that space. Very good court awareness by her there. And that's 21 for UCU and 15 for UPDF now. set number 3. UCU leading 8 points and UPDF having 3. And of course, for those of us who are watching online, kindly confirm if you can hear now or if the sound is okay. UCU 8 points. Of course, for UCU, they just need to find a way of winning this set and finishing the game with, of course, collecting those maximum 3 points. Interested to set. Now, Shinobe Daffin gives a free ball, retrieved, and Sekina sets up Grace. And smart play from Grace, of course, gives that point to UPDF. 5-8 now. Faima doing the service now. Line infringement called on Rebecca Alutia when she was coming from the backcourts. And of course, that point goes to the UCU side's way. UCU leading now with that gap they started with of 3 points. UPDF trying to fight their way back into the game. But of course, they are trailing with 2 sets. And UCU, of course, just need to win this set and, of course, walk away with clean 3 points. And of course, that big swing from Kutha off the hands of Novelin, the middle blocker of UCU, just secures that point for UPDF. Of course, Kutha is not quick to get to that ball, and that is a point for UCU. You see, of course, the Lady Doves holding on to their lead and seeking for victory, and of course walking away with a maximum 3 points in this fixture. Yeah, UPDF trying to fight their way back in this set, but of course things not really going their way because UCU has just that 4-point lead and holding on to it. Novelin with the service, she errors, and of course that's a point for UPDF. And of course Sakina, the setter, is now going to the service line, and UCU of course has to side out in order to keep their 4-point lead running. Retrieved of course by Patricia. Praise high, she swings, but of course the ref decides to give them that point. And of course we are coming to you live from Lugogo here at the MTN Arena. I've seen 2013-22. You're asking where are the games being played from. Just a confirmation, earlier on we had mentioned, but of course we had that glitch in terms of sound. The games are coming to you live, of course, from Lugogo here at the MTN Arena. And of course, as Sunday, we are always broadcasting these games from the arena. And this is our first game, which was scheduled to start at 9. And of course, other issues pushed us to start it at midday. And of course, after this particular game, we have another ladies game in Serie A. Of course, Sportes ladies will be taking on, of course, SCA. And then after that, you have a men's tie between UCU Doves. They will be playing KCCA, the men. And of course, after that, there's a Serie B encounter between Sportes Tigers. They will be playing St. Charles in Tinda. That is one of the games we are all waiting for. And of course, at the end, our last game will be KAVC. They will be taking on Nemo Stars. So keep it here, Sports Volleyball Club media page, if you can't make it to the arena, and you'll have all those games relayed to you. So you see, you continue, of course, with their lead, and now it has extended to within 6 points, and UPDF, of course, are on the chase. Veronica sets up Alutia. Rebecca, who is, of course, able to go high on the block of Praise and Tracy, and now that is 11 for UPDF and 16 for UCU. there and Faima. And that is a score for UC, who have now hit the 17-point mark. As we progress in the third set, of course, UC already has 2 sets, and UPDF trailing, although they had a very wonderful first set and second set, chasing the lead that UCU had opened earlier on. But of course, UCU was able to capitalize on the errors, and now they are here with 2 sets onto their name, and as well leading in the third set. Patricia swings, but off the hands of Alutia in the cover in position 6. Is not able to bring that ball back into play. Disappointment in her face. And of course, Coach Edison is quick, and he decides to call for a timeout. Of course, even after the timeout, things really not looking good for UPDF, as UCU still has that 6-point lead, and a substitution we have just seen. Of course, Amoding Irene comes on, and of course, Faima, the captain for UPDF, is being taken off by Coach Edison. UCU just in search of those 6 points to finish the set and, of course, win the game as well. And for UPDF, they will need to dig more deeper to set themselves really in that position where they can really maybe get a set and maybe win the next 2 as well. Irene serving, and she also errors from the service. So UCU are now edging towards the 20-point mark, and of course also eyeing that business end of the set. They are really looking good and taking control of this third set. Veronica looking for Kutha, and of course Tracy not able to keep that ball in play. Nicely picked by Praise. Daphne looking for Alado. Retrieved, of course, by Amoding Irene. Kutha uses the brain now. Picked by Charity. Daphne sets up Chinove. And not quite good set from Daphne. And that's a double called on her by the first ref. Of course, the UCU players there on the bench looking to really enjoy themselves as their team is progressing steadily and looking strong in this third set. Very good line attack from Alado. Patricia checks in UCU to point number 20. And the substitution for UPDF, of course, Sakina comes back in the setting position, and Veronica is taken off. Of course, Coach Juma there, the UCU Lady Doves coach, looking very, very settled. Of course, he knows his team is in control and just in need of those 5 points to earn themselves the victory and walk away with of course, the maximum points. Patricia, nicely picked by Rebecca Kutha, and she goes wide. 21 UCU, 14 UPDF. Coach Edison now decides to rest Kutha and introduce Pule Florence to add on the offense for Team UPDF. Retreat by Alutia. Nabuto Joan brought and shut down by Novelin from the middle there. Very, very nice hands from her and good block from Novelin there for Team UCU. And of course, UPDF have called in their second timeout. Coach Edison with that call. That attack from Novelin brings us to match point number 1 for Team UCU. And of course, we are going to have a substitution from, of course, Coach Edison for UPDF. You can see player just number 11, Nambiru Bushra, is on the substitution end. And of course, Alutia Rebecca is the player going to be taken off. Violencers, you're saying online Zambia network is always good. Well, we thank you for your comments, and of course, just as human beings, this is also technology. Someone in the comment section is asking, hi, KCCA Women versus Sports results. No, that game has not yet started. It's going to really start immediately this game is done. UPDF saves the first match point, and they have now added themselves 1 point. That is 15 now for them, and 24 for UCU. Daffin looking for Patricia Alado off the hands, and UCU Lady Doves have managed to win this particular first game of the day, and UPDF, of course, their first game in round 2 are not able to get themselves any points. And for UCU, they have really played themselves a good job, and really for Coach Juma, I think he should be proud of the ladies here because they have done a good job following that first set. Still second set, of course, also UPDF pushing them to the limit there, but in this particular third set, a clean win for them with that range of 10 points has really done them well. And of course, for us here, we are going to just be broadcasting these games as they come. Remember, I told you the next game is also as well a ladies' encounter between Sporters Women and of course KCCA. That game is going to kick off shortly. Just keep it Sporters Volleyball Club media page. Let's return when that game starts.